What's good, Jiggy Gang? How we all doing? Welcome back to another episode of Boxing News. Hope everyone is having a great day, morning, evening, night. No sponsors, but I had to take a fat little sip there. Alright, everybody, what's going on? So, first things first, baby. Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant. What are your thoughts on the fight? Leave it down in the comments section below. I personally believe that, you know what, we're going to get into it today, right away. Let's go. So, in my opinion, it was an early stoppage. Now, first things first, I haven't seen the entire fight. I've watched some highlights on YouTube of it, and obviously that does not do the fight justice. For what I heard, it was an incredible fight. I actually had bought in the pay-per-view. Yes, Dana White, I bought your fucking pay-per-view for UFC 268, Usman versus Covington II, Namajunas versus, well, the other one. Okay, I forgot her name, sorry. I'm not racist, by the way. Weili Zhang, I believe. Anyways, so I bought the pay-per-view UFC 268. We'll get into that here as well. But first off, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to shock the world. Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant was an early stoppage. Now, before you get too crazy, before your panties get all riled up in that crack, you know, they go crazy in there and you start freaking out, going nuts, just hear me out. Plant was actually outboxing Canelo, and the commentators agree. He was outboxing Canelo for a fair amount of rounds in this fight. Now, granted, we all knew who was going to win this fight, okay? The media was trying to hype Plant up, which, you know, this and that. He's a great fighter in his own right. He'll be back. He's a champion. He's not no Billy Joe Saunders who drank a Busch Light before the fight and claimed he was going to freaking end Canelo, and then he got his face broken and retired from fighting forever. Okay, this is different. This is Caleb Plant, a guy who has struggled through adversity his whole life, his whole career. You know, worked his way up from nothing at the gym with nothing. You know, started him and his trainer, and they worked their way up. And not only that, his goal of becoming champion, he cemented, he crushed that goal after, unfortunately, you know, the passing of his daughter. Very, 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 very sad. I mean, words can't describe. And you have to feel for the guy. You know, he desperately wanted everything for this fight to go his way. I mean, this was his career, his legacy. I don't believe his career. I'll take that back. This was his legacy, though. Very much on the line here. And to tell you the truth, this was actually a great fight for Caleb Plant. You know, he got to show the world on the grandest stage, this is who I am. This is what I'm made of. This is what I'm going to do. And he put it on Canelo. He really did. He put it on Canelo. But Canelo, the great champion he is, the world class he is, the once in a generational fighter he is, absolutely destroyed him in that 11th round. I mean, that 11th round, that was kill mode for Canelo Alvarez. And there was 2 knockdowns in the 11th of Caleb Plant. And the second one, the ref really didn't even start counting before the fight was waved off. And I believe this was an early stoppage. So, hate that or love that. That's my beliefs. That's I have to say that's how I feel. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, Caleb Plant, the classy fighter, the classy man, gentleman he is, he didn't have any issues with the stoppage, as far as I'm aware. But I just feel for the guy. I think it was such a tough fight, and to go out like that, I mean, that's tough. You know, the ref really could have given him a second chance, I feel like, with that second knockdown, albeit he was fucking battered. He was fucking wobbled. He was absolutely off his rocker, okay? I mean, you know what? You go 11 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, and you tell me how you feel after those 11th round. I mean, okay, Canelo does this. He smashes people. He just keeps coming forward no matter what you throw at him. I mean, the guy is unstoppable, really. Mayweather was lucky. You know, Mayweather got to him when he was a puppy. And now, the student, if you will, has become the master. I mean, we've seen Floyd Mayweather in his last fight against Logan Paul. The joke of an event that was. I mean, good for Logan Paul, right? I mean, you can't take nothing away from him, but it was tough to see Floyd Mayweather like that. You know, the guy who dominated the sport for 20 years has now became that. Whatever, that's a different discussion for a different day. Back on topic. Caleb Plant, Canelo Alvarez, early stoppage. Should have kept going. The fight should have kept going. Now, would Caleb Plant have survived? That's tough to say. I think, though, he goes back to his corner, you know, after if he doesn't get knocked down again in that 11th round. But I think he goes back to his corner, and they tell him it is what it is. Go out there in this last round, you know, give it everything you got. Stay on your feet for the love of God. Stay on your feet. And I think we come to a decision win for Canelo, you know. But it is what it is. Great fight from the parts I've seen. Canelo Alvarez, absolutely kill mode, disgusting, violent in that 11th round. Ultimately put Caleb Plant out. That's just how the cookie crumbles, as they say. So next up, let's talk about UFC 268. The good, the bad, the ugly. What we learned. You know, our takeaways. Now, I'll be honest. This was the first UFC pay-per-view I've bought in a while. And I am damn happy about it, man. I could not have been any happier to give the UFC my $90 than I was that night. I mean, what a night. I had a few beers, watched it with my dad and my beautiful girlfriend. Shout out to her. It was a great night for everybody. Unless you were Frankie Edgar. In that case, rest in peace. No, I'm joking aside. But can we put more respect on Frankie Edgar's name, please? In the MMA community? In the combat sports community? Can we put more respect on Frankie Edgar's name, please? Once and for all. I mean, the guy has done everything. You know, he doesn't get... You don't get more company man vibes than you do from Frankie Edgar in the UFC. I mean, just... It was so sad to see. But I'll tell you what, though. Now, he's in a tough position because up until, I believe it was that second round or that third round, when Vera Anderson Silva chowed him in the face, right? Front kicked him in the face, and just absolutely demolished him. Up until that point, Frankie Edgar was dominating that fight. Frankie Edgar was kicking ass in that fight. It was so tough to see. It's like, man, why did that have to happen? And here's a gripe with the UFC. Now, it's a pro for them as well. They put on the best fights. Yes, we know this. They put the best guy versus the other best guy, or woman versus the other best woman. In Frankie Edgar's case, man, you need to give the guy... You need to give him not Cheeto Vera. Are you kidding me? The only guy to have, you know, messed up Sean O'Malley. Like, you can't put Frankie Edgar in with a guy like that. I mean, that's not right. And that's my biggest gripe about it. You can't do that to Frankie Edgar. So I feel bad about that. You know, I wish that Edgar had won that fight. We were all rooting for him. I mean, the guy's a legend, 40 years old, still going out there, you know, throwing hands with the best of them, throwing legs with the best of them. R.I.P. Frankie Edgar, man. I hope, you know, that the UFC gives him an easier fight, a main event, for a fight night or something like that. A farewell send off. Derek Jeter got it. Kobe Bryant got it. All the top athletes in the world have gotten it. And they need to do Frankie Edgar some damn justice. They need to do it right. They need to give him a nice little main event send off against like the Uriah Hall of featherweights or something like that. You know what I'm saying. Bantamweights, whatever. Okay. So let that be that. Now moving on to the co-main event. Now I'm be honest, I didn't see this fight. I fell asleep, okay? Your boy had a few too many brewskis. And, passed out for a little bit. According to my father, though, it was a lot of wrestling. According to y'all, it was a lot of wrestling as well, everybody said Rose used her wrestling and did what she had to do to drag out the win. And that's cool with me, man. I'm a big fan of both fighters. Weili Zhang is incredible. Rose Namajunas is incredible as well. So give it up to both of them, fine ladies. Rose is just, she's a lion. It's going to be so hard to stop her. And I think very few women on the planet, probably only a handful of dudes really too, could take that bitch out. Okay, moving on. Main event, UFC 268. Last point, and I'm going to be out of here. Colby Covington. For the amount of trash this dude talked. For like a year straight of trash that this dude talked. He came out there and he put on, now spoiler, I mean, not really a spoiler, it's more of like a heads up. I'm a big Covington fan, okay? I have some truth to shed on y'all. This dude actually, I Instagram DM'd him in 2014 or a long time ago, back right after his fight against Damian Maia, right? And they were going crazy. They death threats, whatever, throwing trash at the man, all this. And rightfully deserved. He called them filthy animals. It is what it is. But I Instagrammed this man and said, yo, big fan, shout out, and he came back, he said, hey, man, appreciate the support, thanks a lot. Okay, I've been a fan of Covington, right? I like his Trump thing, I like his first responders support thing, I like his military support thing, his bang energy thing. I like Colby Covington, all right? Colby Covington Incorporated, if you will. And he's his own man, he's his own manager now, and he's doing big things, right? MMA Masters Gym, this and that, okay, big things. Trilogy, hey, we got to see that. Usman Covington III, let's go. I'm paying my left nut to see that fight. All right, I'm still a believer. He can a third fight against Usman, man. After Usman gets his chin rocked a couple more times, I think Covington could take the belt. All right. And anyways, that's a big money fight for the UFC. That's a big money fight, especially if Covington keeps talking his trash. Oh, dude, you already know it's going down. It's a big money fight. And so I was not disappointed at all with the fight. I thought if Covington was going to lose, this was the only way he could lose and still have some credibility to his name. You know what I mean? Because when you talk trash for a year straight and then you go out there and you get clipped like he did in the fifth round of the first fight, I mean, oh, come on, dude. That's hard to come back from, you know what I mean? But in this fight, to go to a decision where it's like, 2 rounds apart to Usman, I mean, it was a pretty close fight, dude, honestly, I thought it was a close fight. That second round really, really, really was the only highlight for Usman winning it. I mean, he popped his jab out there quite a bit, too. Let's give him that. He did pop his jab out there. He's got a nasty jab, that snake jab. But it was a great fight, a great night of fights. And, congrats to Kamaru Usman. He's a hell of a champion. I like that dude a lot, too. I got a lot of respect for that dude, that man. He's putting the pound on everybody at 170. I mean, it's crazy. Who are they going to have to bring in? They got to bring in old school Johnny Hendricks. They have to bring in old school prime GSP. I mean, who's going to beat this dude, for real? For real, though. Who's going to beat this guy? If Covington can't do it like Dana White said, who the hell can? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Great fight and a great weekend of fights. So that's all I got for y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Jiggy Gang, we'll be back. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Make sure to hit the subscribe, like button. You know, all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Be easy.